They laughed when he left me, a struggling single mom with a newborn baby and no job. He said, "I need someone who matches my ambition." But 11 years later, I walked into that boardroom, and he stood up, stunned, because I was the CEO. Studio microphone. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button for more real-life stories that hit hard. Every story is true, dramatic, and unforgettable. My name is Amelia Rose Harper. I was 22 when I fell for Nathan Carter, charming, driven, and ambitious beyond belief. We met in business school at NYU. He had this way of talking like the world owed him something, and maybe, for a while, I believed it did. We were together for 3 years. Moved into a tiny apartment in Queens, shared dreams of building a life together. He wanted to be the next Elon Musk, and I just wanted a future with him. I believed in him. Too much, maybe. Then came the pregnancy. When I told Nathan I was pregnant, he stared at me in silence for a long time. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just said, "You're keeping it?" "Of course I'm keeping it," I replied. "Then I can't do this. I didn't sign up to be a father. I have too much ahead of me." The next morning, his side of the closet was empty. He left a note. "I hope you find someone who wants the same small life you do. I want more. I can't be held back by a baby." 2 weeks later, I found out he got engaged to Chloe Whitman, the daughter of a tech millionaire. She was everything I wasn't: blonde, powerful, rich, and conveniently not pregnant. He married her 6 months later. And I delivered a baby boy alone. I named my son Leo. He had his father's dimples and my stubborn eyes. Those early years were hard. I worked 2 jobs, waitressing during the day and studying online courses at night. I never asked Nathan for help. Not even once. He moved to San Francisco with Chloe. Built a startup. Became a rising star in tech. I saw him on Forbes 30 Under 30. I just kept pushing. For Leo. For me. Fast forward 11 years. I had climbed the ranks in a venture capital firm. Got my MBA while raising Leo. I was now vice president of strategy at Cassidy Ventures, one of the most powerful VC firms in Silicon Valley. And then came the opportunity of a lifetime. Our firm acquired a struggling AI startup. Guess whose company it was? Nathan Carter's. His empire had crumbled after a major product flop. Investors backed out. He was desperate for funding, and our firm had bought him out at a discount. What he didn't know: I had just been promoted to interim CEO after my boss retired. So when I walked into that boardroom, and Nathan turned to see the new head of his company, his face turned ghost white. The conference room buzzed with tension. Nathan sat near the head of the long walnut table, his expensive watch catching the light, his eyes glued to the agenda. He didn't look up when I walked in. "Good morning, everyone," I said calmly, placing my laptop on the table. A pause. Then he looked up. And froze. His eyes widened, mouth slightly open. For a moment, he said nothing. "Amelia?" I smiled politely. "Yes. CEO of Cassidy Ventures. I'll be overseeing integration and operational restructuring." The color drained from his face. You could hear a pin drop. After the meeting, he followed me to the elevator. You work here?" he asked, his voice low. "I run the place." "I didn't know." "I mean, how?" "Life," I said. "It keeps moving. Even after you leave." He blinked. "Listen, Amelia. I didn't mean to." "Save it," I cut him off. "We're professionals now. Let's keep it that way." He swallowed hard. Nodded. Said nothing more. But inside, I was burning. He had walked away from me when I needed him the most. Now, he had to report to me. The universe has a strange sense of justice. That night, I sat with Leo over dinner. He was 11 now. Bright. Funny. Fierce. "How was your day, Mom?" "Interesting," I said, smiling. "I met someone from my past." I didn't tell him yet. Not everything. But soon. At work, Nathan tried to act confident, making suggestions, acting like the old days. But I could feel his insecurity every time we made eye contact. He was no longer the rising star. He was a fallen founder working for the woman he abandoned. Then came the investor dinner. Nathan was invited as part of the acquisition team. He showed up in a sleek tuxedo, Chloe by his side. She looked at me. Her smile tight. Polished. Curious. "And you are?" she asked. "Amelia Harper," I said, extending a hand. "CEO." Her eyes twitched. "Oh. You're the one who acquired your husband's company?" "Yes." The air between us tightened. Nathan looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. That night, I finally told Leo the truth. We sat on the couch, lights low, his favorite blanket around his shoulders. "You know how you always asked about your dad?" He nodded. "Well, I saw him today. At work. He doesn't know about you yet." Leo didn't say anything at first. "Is he nice?" I paused. He wasn't. But people change. Maybe. Leo thought for a moment. "Do I have to meet him?" "Only if you want to." He nodded slowly. "Maybe one day. But not now." I respected that. And I kept my focus, run the company. Keep things professional. Protect Leo. But Nathan wasn't done. 2 days later, he asked for a private meeting. And what he said next shocked me to the core. Nathan requested a private meeting in my office. I agreed, reluctantly. I had a hunch it wasn't about work. He stepped in wearing that same confident smirk I remembered from years ago, the one that used to charm me. But I was no longer that naive 22-year-old girl. I gestured for him to sit. "What do you want, Nathan?" I asked plainly. He hesitated, then leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I've been thinking. About everything. About you. About back then." I didn't reply. I let the silence make him squirm. I made a mistake, he continued. Walking away like I did. I thought I wanted power, status, the dream, but Chloe and it's not what I thought it would be. He looked up at me with those same eyes that once made my knees weak. I still think about you, Amelia. Every day. I narrowed my eyes. What are you trying to say? I want to try again. Maybe we could start over? I laughed. It wasn't cold. It wasn't loud. Just a soft, disbelieving chuckle. You want to start over? After 11 years of silence? After leaving me with a newborn so you could marry into money? He stood, suddenly defensive. I was young. Scared. I didn't know. You didn't want to know, I snapped. You didn't even check if we were okay. He opened his mouth to speak, then closed it. I stood too. We're done here. Please respect the chain of command and schedule meetings with me through the board, going forward. He didn't move. Amelia. You want to be part of your son's life? I said. Earn it. Step by step. But this, whatever fantasy you've got in your head about us, it ends here. That night, I cried. Not because I missed him, but because part of me finally let go of that old wound. I didn't need his apology. I didn't need his validation. Leo and I had built a life. A good one. And I wouldn't let anyone, especially him, shake it. The next week, something unexpected happened. Nathan scheduled a formal request with HR. He wanted to meet Leo. He didn't push. He followed every protocol. Asked for a supervised meeting. Even submitted a letter, not to me, but to Leo. I read it first. You don't know me, Leo. But I'm your father. And I'd like to earn the chance to know you. If you'll let me. I'll wait. As long as it takes. I showed it to Leo. He read it quietly, lips pressed into a line. Do you think he means it, Mom? I don't know, I answered honestly. But you get to decide. He nodded. Okay. Maybe one meeting. The day of the meeting, Nathan showed up early. Nervous. Leo walked in wearing his favorite hoodie and a guarded expression. They sat across from each other in the conference room. It wasn't perfect. It was awkward. But it happened. Leo asked him questions. Nathan answered. No lies. No sugarcoating. And for the first time, I saw something in Nathan I hadn't before. Regret. Real, raw, overdue regret. Afterward, Leo said. He's not what I expected. But I'm glad I met him. I smiled. Me too, kiddo. Small orange diamond. Weeks passed. Leo and Nathan met twice more, each time under casual supervision. Their conversations were still careful, sometimes clumsy, but they were happening. And Leo seemed lighter afterward, not because he found a new father, but because he'd finally closed a question mark in his heart. Meanwhile, work continued. I oversaw the restructuring of Nathan's company, now a division of Cassidy Ventures. We assigned new leadership, scaled back the product line, and got things back on track. Nathan remained as an advisor, under contract, no longer in power. He showed up on time. Contributed quietly. No arrogance. Just effort. But I never let my guard down. One afternoon, after a quarterly review, he lingered outside my office. "I'm not asking for another chance," he said. "I know I don't deserve that." I raised a brow. "Then why are you here?" "To say thank you. For not shutting the door on Leo. For being the parent I never was." I nodded once. Short. Controlled. "You're doing the right thing now. That's what matters." He looked down, hands in his pockets. "I envy you, Amelia. You built everything I dreamed of, and you did it without selling your soul." I didn't reply. Because I didn't need to. 2 months later, Leo turned 12. He invited Nathan to his birthday party. It was just a backyard barbecue with a few of his friends, but it meant something. Nathan came, brought a thoughtful gift, helped hang streamers, and left early without making a scene. Leo smiled afterward. He's trying. I like that he's not pretending to be perfect. I smiled too. You're a good judge of character, kid. Later that night, after Leo went to bed, I stood in the kitchen alone. The breeze from the window carried the smell of charcoal and laughter still echoing in the yard. And I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. Not at Nathan. Not at the past. Not even at myself for once loving someone who left. Because everything I had now, my strength, my son, my success, was forged in that fire. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Epilogue 8 years later. Leo graduated from high school with honors. I watched him cross that stage with tears in my eyes. Nathan was there too, seated a few rows behind. We didn't speak, but we nodded. A silent truce between people who had grown, separately, and painfully. That night, Leo hugged me tighter than ever before. "You were always enough, Mom. More than enough." And that was the only closure I ever needed. Speech balloon. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. We share powerful stories every week that speak to real struggles, second chances, and the quiet strength we carry inside us.